We would take care of that. Let's get with Mary Rose after the meeting.
Okay, that's what.
Because I know CCAP
You're gonna be at that thing next Tuesday?
Yeah.
sent that out to everybody.
Right.
And so after the election, then we'll have it for sure. They just want to make sure everybody's got rooms.
Right, that's the deal.
And there's a newly elected orientation on Saturday.
Ours is mine.
Yeah, they had me last time, so I guess they
Would like not do, last time they did it in August.
Those things go through Tuesday midday,
And we're on top of each other.
Saturday through
Yeah, I
Tuesday.
would've gone Tuesday, yeah.
So I don't think a room's gonna be.
McDermott.
Hey.
Sorry, I'm sorry?
Good, how are you?
Larry's in mine.
All the time.
All the time, we're, everybody.
Okay.
Morning, everybody.
Hey,
Morning.
Morning.
Scott,
Yeah.
you probably figured this out. I
Yeah.
don't know Zach Wilson's.
Listen. Yeah, guys, Matt Ryan's reached
I'm doing, we'll get it fixed.
Parks and Wentz reached out. We
Bet
don't
they're taking those calls.
Okay, I got it.
I saw that.
I'll write it down.
I saw it.
Thank you.
He's interesting.
Oh, okay. I did see
Can't you see the pain on his face? Can't you see it?
We were over, my son and I went.
How are things going?
Especially with the 22 contract just coming up.
So, the guys talking, hey, listen, don't worry. We had some lean years too. I said, you haven't had a lean half a century.
Some people say it's the Jets fan, some people call it seasonal depression.
Last
Things
year,
get a little.
you expect them to lose, so when they win, it wasn't a surprise.
Just being hired.
So it's like, wow, they won, it's a nice Sunday. But otherwise, you expect, he went down.
I saw the meetings like fourth place for the, where does he now rank on his list of all-time great Jets quarterbacks? Hello, Mr. Solicitor. Mr. Goober.
Let me know if you
I'll have to hear it. Yes, I'm still.
Look at those fancy nylons. Whatever you call it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I saw that, I saw that copy, that was so funny.
Thank you for the heads up, I appreciate it.
They don't do, you know, you look at what they spent on it, they one day moderate.
No, we can't, we could have first round. We could have awards.
Oh, yes.
He was so happy.
Oh, sorry. Hey, Jeff, I'm about ready to start. I'm going to drink, so I'll call you back. Okay, bye.
You ready?
I am.
Anybody calling in, Matt?
I don't know.
Let's see. Morning, who do we have?
Morning, this is Jamie with Cedacock.
Morning, Jamie.
Amazing. Do an affirmation.
Good morning.
Morning, Lauren Strasser, LCRMO.
Morning, Lauren. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Morning, everyone. We ask you to please rise for the opening prayer and pledge of allegiance before we convene the Commissioners' Public Meeting. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you this morning for your goodness and love you provide. We thank you for the hope that you have given us even in the toughest times as we face as an individual or a nation.
You are our source of strength, hope, peace, and love. We lift those up in need this morning. You know each one of those needs, and we ask you to touch each one of those lives as only you can. Tomorrow we'll remember the history of the Veteran of Foreign Wars. From its origin in 1899 by a group of veterans, it has grown to be the largest group of combat veterans. The VFW promotes patriotism and goodwill. Their generosity has provided military assistance and community service programs to their local communities. Lord, we thank you for these men and women who continue to show your love by helping their communities with their dedication and efforts. Father, we ask you that you'll steer our meeting this morning. May our efforts be always in accordance with your will. May they be multiplied and exceed any goals or benchmarks. Let us never forget to give you the glory for those blessings. You've placed us in a beautiful valley that we call home, surrounded by your creation. And let us savor each day and strive to be more like you. These things we humbly pray in your name. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Morning, everyone. At this time, we'll convene the Commissioners' public meeting and ask for approval of the minutes of the previous meeting.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We make public comment on agenda items only at this time.
None of them
Okay. Reports, Caitlin.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Presented for your ratification are invoices due through October 4th, 2023, to be paid on September 27th, 2023, for $1,284,051.75. The breakdown is as follows, with 45.79% being funded by the general fund at $588,018.58. 6.61% is funded by grants and pass-through monies at $84,846.35. 4.16% is funded by RMS at $53,385.03. And 43.44% is being funded by escrow at $557,801.79.
Okay. Thank you. Do we have any questions or comments?
And we're just going to be putting a lot of money into the East 3rd Street Plaza as we're looking forward to moving over there. So I noticed a sizable amount in this pay period.
Okay, a motion?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to info items. Jenny?
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
All right. So we are seeking projects to include in our 2023 application to the Pennsylvania Housing Finance Authority for FAIR projects, and that stands for the Pennsylvania Housing Affordability and Rehabilitation Enhancement Fund. So FAIR funds support a wide range of affordable housing projects, and the funds are generated from Marcellus shale drilling here in Lycoming County. Funds could be used for a wide range of projects, including housing preservation and rehabilitation, rental housing creation, homeless prevention, homeownership, housing counseling, and tax credit projects. Funds are not available for individuals, though. Applications are due to us at the county on October 19th, and the application materials are found at our website, www.lyco.org/grants.
Okay, thank you, Jenny.
Thanks.
That sounded like a commercial.
Yeah,
It
good.
was. We're hoping to get a lot more
Infomercial.
projects.
Public service.
All right, moving on to personnel actions. Commissioners seeking your approval on the following personnel actions as conditional offers of employment, subject to the successful completion of a background check and all other employment conditions as outlined in attachment A. In pre-release, David Fox, resident supervisor 1, full-time replacement, $18.10 per hour, 80 hours per pay period, start date October 9, 2023. In resource management services, Andy Miller, truck driver, floater, full-time replacement, $21.05 an hour, 80 hours per pay period, transfer date October 1, 2023. In Resource Management Services, Robert Geiser, recycling labor, full-time replacement, $14.50 an hour, 80 hours per pay period, start date October 2, 2023. In the prison, Allison Diekman, licensed practical nurse, full-time replacement, $30 per hour, 80 hours per pay period, start date October 16, 2023. In the prison, Benjamin Saar, correction officer 1, full-time replacement, $20 per hour, 80 hours per pay period, start date October 8, 2023. And finally, lastly, in the prison, Matthew Walker, correction officer 1, full-time replacement, $20 per hour, 80 hours per pay period, start date October 8, 2023.
Okay, can I have a motion to accept the personnel actions?
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, so carried.
Moving on to action items. Jamie, I assume you're going to do 5.1 and 5.2? Oh, there you
Tyler
are.
should be there, so
Sorry,
I
yep.
just know if she needs assistance.
You caught me off guard when she was on.
That's okay, sorry.
Tanya.
Good morning, Commissioners. Yes, Jamie's here in case of anything that she would need to jump in with. But of course, the first one on the agenda is for the amendment to the subrecipient agreement with STEP for the Homes in Need program, just extending that date.
Okay. Motion?
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye, so carried. Okay, 5.2.
And the second one is the vote to approve the Amendment 1 to the Professional and Administrative Services Agreement with CEDACOG. This is in regards to the environmental review that would be added to that contract and the enforcement of the Davis-Bacon Acts that shall be amended to remove the $2,700 fee from the Lairdsville lateral installation project.
Okay, motion?
I'll move to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, so carried.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
5.3, Nancy, electronic monitoring service agreement.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning, Nancy.
JPO is asking for your approval for our 23-24 contract with Geo Group for our electronic monitoring for our juveniles. And there is no rate increase this year.
This is simply just a one-year extension as per the contract.
Yeah. A motion?
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Nancy, how many do we have on the electronic monitoring right now with the juveniles? You know?
Let me see real quick here. We have 20. As of last month, we had 20 kids.
Okay. Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you. Have a good
Okay,
day.
You too, thank you.
5.4, Lauren, performance grant application.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
I'm seeking approval for the calendar year 2022 904 recycling performance grant of 14,192 tons minus the residue rate. This includes the residential and commercial recycling in Lycoming County and is only for the Act 101 eligible materials such as paper, metal cans, glass bottles, plastics 1 and 2. And this will be submitted on DCED's grant website, and signatures are not required at this time.
Okay, and this is a 2023 budget item. Okay, motion?
I'll move to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, so carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
5.5 and 5.6, Kelsey.
Morning, Kelsey.
Good morning, Commissioners. So today I have two items for you. Both are in regards to the Greater Muncie Area Study being completed by the Army Corps of Engineers. This is going to be an extension of that study for this final phase that will give us stormwater and flooding alternatives for that study area. That includes all of Muncie Borough and part of Muncie Creek Township. And along with that, we'll get those benefit cost ratios for all of the alternatives that the Army Corps looks at. So the first item I have for you is the Memorandum of Understanding with the Borough of Muncie and Muncie Bank and Trust for the local cost share. And it's going to be a 50% cost share with the county covering about 62%, Muncie Bank and Trust at 28%, and Muncie Borough at about 9%.
Okay. Motion?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Any questions or comments for Kelsey? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So carried.
All right, and then the second item I have for you is just the amendment to our agreement with the Army Corps of Engineers. That includes that 50% local cost share, and then the other 50%, which is $82,000, will be covered by federal cost share.
Okay. Motion?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So carried.
Thank you.
Thank you.
5.7, Malik, agreement with TLC.
Morning, Malik.
Good morning. Good morning, Commissioners. Seeking your approval for the amendment to the agreement with Transitional Living Centers for the 2021 fair funds for the master leasing program.
Okay, this is out of the 2021 fair funds?
Yes.
Okay. Motion?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So carried.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Malik,
Yes.
you know, I think the commissioners really like maybe a quarterly report on the master leasing. It's something that we've invested in, and this is going back, I don't know,
A lot of years.
yeah, a number of years anyway.
Yeah.
I think even before you became a
Oh, yeah,
commissioner.
way before that.
And I'd like to see the success of the program or the challenges that it faces. So if you could get us some information regarding the total amount and how successful it is, that would really be beneficial to us.
Yeah. At least a dozen years.
Do you think it's
Yeah.
been a dozen?
I think it's been about a dozen years. Yep.
I was thinking more like 8 or 10, but,
Yeah. Ballpark.
okay.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks.
Commissioner comment.
Gentlemen have anything?
I do.
Yeah, go ahead.
You know, this weekend is very important for the future of our children. And I think there's going to be some people in Congress that are going to stand up for not spending money. And we have to understand that every time, and this is Republicans and Democrats alike, every time that we have a continuing resolution is more debt going into it. And I believe that the people are just sick and tired of hearing the leadership in both parties say that, well, this gives us time to negotiate by continuing resolutions. Okay? And then they'll place the blame on a certain group of people that realize that we're in trouble. And when you're $33 trillion in the hole, and I don't see light at the end of the tunnel, that they're going to be trying to pay this back, then we demonize the people who are trying to do their best to control the spending. And for an example, you know, just one example, I can tell you so many projects that are needed in our country. We know them well from mental health on, and yet we'll continue without any accountability giving money to foreign countries and making some of our people sacrifice. And here is where those people are trying to make a stand. And from, you know, I'm speaking as a Republican, I'm tired of our party, and I shouldn't be getting into the politics, but we are the people. And we have to be concerned about this. And we must use our legislative branches to let them know, everyone here, everyone I won't say everyone, But probably 80% of the American people on all sides of the aisle know we're spending way too much money and we got to stop. And yet they continue to spend. So I don't know what's going to happen. I think we better find out how it's going to affect counties. It may pass, it may not. But if it doesn't, then there will be monies that are held up, and we better be prepared for that. For how long, I'm not sure. The second thing I'd like to just touch base on is during the budget process, we have a lot of questions to ask the departments. And the Sheriff's Department came in and we're asking for some requests. They're healthy requests, and we understand why they're asking for some new additional personnel. One of the reasons is because of safety. Okay, maybe we're more privy to the information nationally than the majority of people, but sheriff deputies are getting shot every day. And Scott, you know the statistics. I don't remember which was the number one. Oh,
Traffic stops are the number one reason why law enforcement is the number one death for law enforcement. PFAs are number two.
PFAs are number two. And we're sitting in a meeting, and the chief is telling us this story that just happened this week on serving a PFA to an individual. Well, I won't get into too much detail, but here's a person that was wrong. It was the son. He's being served the PFA at the grandfather's house. And it turns bad because the grandfather had no clue as to why the sheriff deputies were there. And when they tell you, I'm taking your guns because it's a court order, the sheriff departments have no choice. Okay, they have no choice to take the person's weapons and remove them from their home. Pardon? Yeah, the kids. And the grandfather, who has no criminal background, none, went and got a gun. Now, the danger, and I bring this up because Lycoming County is one of the only, one county that rises far above most counties in this state in PFAs. I mean, it's ridiculous. And many of these cases are not warranted. And many of them are settled. You have 10 days. When you pick somebody up, you have 10 days, and many of those cases are done after 10 days. But it puts our sheriff's department, our deputies in jeopardy. Not only them, but the people they're serving. Okay? And I'm not sitting here defending the people that they're serving. I'm saying in this particular case, deputies had to decide whether they were going to pull their guns or not. That's a terrible choice to have to make. I think we can improve this system somehow if we put common sense together and get it done. I'm begging that we try to change something in the system.
Yeah, we'll be meeting with the courts, the sheriff's office. Well, the sheriff himself informed us they'll be approaching 600 PFAs by the end of the year, which is just astronomical. When I was next door, I handled the assault cases, and I had a stack of PFAs there. The PFA is a civil order. Once it's violated, then it becomes criminal. The person's brought back before the court and held in contempt, and they can serve up to 6 months in jail. There has to be a reason why the PFAs are escalating. We're not sure the reason why, but they are escalating yearly. It's dangerous for the sheriffs because with all the paperwork, other paperwork they have to serve, They're serving a lot of these papers and stuff in the evening. And, you know how it starts to get dark in the fall. As winter approaches, they're serving a lot of these papers in the evening and dangerous conditions. So, PFAs are there for a reason, in the sense they do protect the victims, but they're not to be abused, and in cases they are abused. There are people that use them for purposes that are inappropriate, and that's for the courts to decide when they are. But those people should be held in contempt themselves when they're abusing the system. And we encourage the courts to hold those people in contempt that abuse the system because it's inappropriate. And it puts everybody at risk. It puts enormous burden on the Sheriff's Department and what it does to families also. Many of these, in my opinion, could be averted. And we hope that the meeting with the courts will be productive, and we can try to get a handle on a problem. It's out of control, it really is. Domestic violence is nothing to be taken lightly. We understand, for instance, when a police officer gets the phone call on someone who's in violation, they have to take them to jail. They don't have the discretion to say, well, listen, who's right here? They have to take them to jail, and then it's up to the judge to decide that, and that could take up to 10 days. So again, there has to be a better system. At the same time, protecting people that need to be protected. Okay. One thing we do like to mention, we met with the airport authority earlier in the week. There continues to be rumors that there's planes flying into our airport, bringing illegal people to our county, which they assure us that there's not. They encourage anyone who thinks that's going on to get the tail number of the plane, because every plane has a tail number. You can get on a website, you can actually track that plane, their entire route, where they came from, where they landed, all the information about that plane. So they said the tower closes at 11 o'clock. The FBO closes at 8 o'clock, so that plane would need fuel to go back out. So they said there's no truth to that rumor, and they wanted to continue to emphasize there's no planes bringing people that are crossing the southern border into our airport.
Although I learned something, that the airport is open 24/7.
They are 24/7.
I didn't know that.
Yes, they are, because their private planes do come in, the smaller planes. I have a friend who's a pilot. He came in the middle of the night there tonight, but his plane's very small. He's bringing himself home.
So, one of the other things we talked about was the likelihood of the EAS program, which is the Essential Air Service program, and the subsidy from the federal government being opened up. And this is sort of the paradox of the spending, because we would love to have the bill passed, which would basically open up EAS and allow all the airports that were excluded from EAS a dozen years ago or so, 10, 11 years ago, be allowed back in. And it's going to cost a lot of money. I bet it's $500 million a year. I don't know. For some reason that number stays in my mind, but I could be totally wrong. But the point is, it's money. The point is, it's money. How much it is, who knows? We actually have been working, and our airport authority has been organizing a coalition of other airports that need to be in EAS across the country, from Kentucky and Iowa, Washington, state of Washington, and our executive director here has been doing that organizing to get Congress and congressmen and senators to put it in the bill. And it's a heavy lift, because there's a lot of pressure not to increase any spending, and at the same time, opening a program up like that is, a big change. So we even thought, well, maybe, listen, let us have essential air service, meaning that the airlines are required to serve us, and local communities could subsidize it. For example, this Board of Commissioners has put aside $1 million and said, listen, if an airline's willing to come, we will subsidize it. The chamber has stepped up with, I think, $1 million.
Almost $1 million.
Almost $1 million.
900 some thousand.
Yeah. So in our community, we have the resources. Now, a lot of other communities don't necessarily have it. I don't know the details in every community, but I'm sure that there's some communities that don't have the resources. But we don't even think we're going to be able to get that passed, to be frank, right?
Can I add something, Bill?
Yeah, absolutely.
That under that designation, when we were under that designation, we never took a penny.
Right.
We didn't need to.
We never
didn't
threw
need to.
down, yeah.
We supported it.
Yeah.
We supported our airport. We didn't need federal funds or subsidies. And that's critical. And, if we can get our senators and congressmen on board to say, well, let's write the legislation that they get back into the program without collecting any money or requesting any money.
And in fairness, I think that all of our congressional delegation are on board. I think that their assessment of whether or not it will get passed is what I would call just an astute political assessment. In other words, you can be supportive of something, but the chances of getting that opened up across the country in this atmosphere where it's no, we're not going to spend any more money, it's very difficult. So I guess the only point I want to make is that what goes on in Washington affects our daily lives in a very, direct basis. And that the other thing is we need to be really careful when we have programs ended for whatever reason back in 2012 when they ended it, because it's always harder to get things reignited. That doesn't mean you shouldn't evaluate programs and determine whether or not they're cost effective. I don't know what the reasoning was back then. I suspect it was money. But it really hurts us not to have planes coming and going.
They encouraged everyone to please write Senator Casey's office, Senator Fetterman's office, Congressman Musser, Congressman Thompson, and they encourage everybody to please let them know how essential this is for Central PA. This airport services 500,000 people, 9 universities. It is hurting our economic development. Employers that want to come here want airline service. They emphasize that again the other day.
Yeah.
And in order for us to grow economically, we need to have a commercial airline here.
One of the board members has a business and is involved and oftentimes has to go out of state, and described how his colleague who lives down in the Harrisburg area can get up at 6 in the morning, fly to North Carolina to check in on one of the branches of the business and be back home that night. Whereas when he goes from Williamsport, it takes him, he said, 3 days.
Three days
He's
total.
got to either drive or plan to, he's got to drive somewhere to catch a plane or drive down there.
Yeah.
Probably he drives down. It's probably like an 8, 9, 10 hour drive. So it does hurt our ability to grow.
And I'll just reiterate what Commissioner Maravito said, that the current board members, well, even the past board members on the Airport Authority are working hard to try to get an airline in here. And the executive director, Richard Howe, is working just as hard. It's not easy. He was put in a tough position when he first came in. As a matter of fact, I think he said he's leaving today, right? Or he left yesterday.
To go to Washington, yep.
That day he was going to Kentucky.
Kentucky, right,
He was going
right.
yeah.
Right.
He
And,
wanted to meet with him.
Yeah. And I think it was, and I was really pleased that he's leading that coalition. And frankly, I think that discussion about the coalition came out of the meetings we had with the Airport Authority, and he picked up the mantle and he's contacted these other places. He might have been doing it on his own anyway, I have no idea. But the point is he's doing it. And that wasn't happening with the other communities. So he's leading that effort to get the other communities involved.
And as we were in the grocery stores and,
Yeah.
you know, public and private events, that's probably the number one issue that people are asking us about. You know, the airport. So, you know, they're working on it, and I'm glad that's the number one issue, because we must be doing something about it. Right.
They talked about the big three would subsidize the smaller airlines in the past, but they're not doing that anymore. They don't want anything to do with them. Rising fuel costs, the shortage of pilots. They were talking about the pilots are getting salaries up to $500,000 now, and with a $100,000 sign-on bonus was what they described to us, because such a pilot shortage. And
You have to jump ship.
yeah.
You have your.
We don't need a helicopter.
When they told us that, we were asking, could you repeat that? And we couldn't believe that. And they said that the fuel cost too. So you see bigger airlines having more people on the planes because of the pilots, and then they talked about the parts. Certain Boeing couldn't get parts. What was the other airline that couldn't get parts? There was another smaller airline that couldn't get parts.
Yeah.
And so it's a perfect storm that's going on. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, I don't know if the public knows it. Matt was a helicopter pilot. What did you fly? In the military?
Apaches, Blackhawks.
Commuter?
This guy behind there ready.
Commuter?
Well, that depends on how you look at it.
You were ferrying true.
But we thank you for your service.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because
Thank you for your service.
you were overseas. Yeah, you were.
A couple times.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, public. Any public comments? Yes. We just ask you to please keep your comments to county issues and be mindful of the time. Thank you. Morning.
Tom Adams, Williamsport. Proverbs 12:5, the thoughts of the righteous are just, but the counsels of the wicked are deceitful. This is a letter I sent to the Gazette. I think it printed probably was too long, and it's titled Adults or Adults. It's concerning transgendering, especially for kids, is the main focus. So, in what world of sanity is it remotely acceptable for people to have surgery in order to change their gender? The idea of gender fluidity is absolutely ludicrous, and it is emotionally and psychologically destructive. How does duplicity save anyone from their mental anguish? People are told kids playing with certain toys doesn't mean anything, but then if a boy shows interest in traditional feminine activities or objects that are normally of interest to girls, well, he must be trapped in the wrong body. At the same time, claiming physical organs have nothing to do with gender, but the child must start transitioning immediately. But as the argument goes, just because a person is born a boy or a girl, as traditional speech, this is not determinant of gender. So this begs the question, why the push for people to undergo transgender surgery if physical biological makeup does not determine gender? Answer, the pushers of this entire network of psychological, emotional, mental, and physical abuse are a part of a much larger and sinister plan for destruction of traditional American and Western civilization, to usher in a one-world tyrannical government for complete control of every human being on planet Earth. Before dismissing this, consider the damage done to people by having them believe life will be much better after surgery, yet to realize after the euphoric state wears off, their lives are not better, and their mutilated bodies are irreversibly damaged, effectively being sterilized and having become lifetime pharma patients of an health don't care system, all for big profit. By the way, once puberty blockers are started, the risks of sterilization grows and increased chances of cancers and other irreversible health problems. Also consider all the emotional and psychological damage with increased risks for suicide. Because unconstitutional laws are in place and are being written to block the psychological help needed to heal these people, children and adults alike. children must be told this is nothing for them to be concerned with, and they need to focus on school and growing up to become responsible adults. No longer a fool to be led around by every whim and fanciful, foolish idea that's pushed in front of their faces to become their own gods. The adults who are involved in any way with this are displaying their true colors of the pagan worshippers of Baal, Ishtar, Ashtra or Ashtoreth, Venus, and Inanna, and Moloch from the ancient world, which entails the same practices. That type of stuff happened in the ancient world. They actually did surgeries on people and they celebrated it. There's thereby showing their complete ignorance. I just lost it. Sorry. Need the help. He's okay, and then there's nothing to be concerned with. They need to focus on growing up. So they don't, they want to become their own gods. The adults who are involved in this, with this, are displaying their true colors of the pagan worshippers of Baal and of the ancient world, thereby showing their complete ignorance of historical truth. There's nothing new under the sun, displaying foolishness and prideful open rebellion to God, which always brings oppression, misery, chaos, destruction, confusion, depression, and complete bondage to a culture of death, making government their God. And then the righteous person is a guide to his neighbor, but the way of the wicked leads them astray. I apologize for the mix-up, but I think we really need to, if we want to keep people healthy and safe, we need to get them back, their minds back on reality and on what God teaches us through His Word, and knowing history and understanding what that we need to have not an emotional-based outlook on life, but our emotions aren't to be ignored, but they can't be our guide. We have to use facts and truth. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else?
No, no, no.
Okay, we've completed our agenda, so we will be adjourned till Thursday, October the 5th, right here at 10 a.m. Thank you, everyone.
How's your daughter doing? I
How are you?
haven't seen her. Oh, that's right, she went